you ever finished a project, say a diorama or a scale model, and thought, I'd like to add, we need to add something to that, like a painting on a wall or a magazine on a table or, say, a cell phone in the front seat of a little blue Volkswagen? Well, I got a trick for that. Make sure that you get it to the right size, and you can do it. It's a free bit of software and a free website. And when you put the two together, it's pretty powerful and pretty simple to print out an object to the right size so that when you put it into your project, it looks like it belongs there, and it doesn't look like, it looks less janky. Let's just go with janky. It looks less janky. So let's get into that. The software I use for this is paint.net. It's freeware. And the way they make money is advertising. So on their website, it is just chock full of ads. So be mindful where you click. I'm sure there's other software out there that can do this, but at the top of my head, I'm not aware of it. And this is free. It works. I've used this software for 10 plus years and have had zero problems out of it. It's not a definitive statement. It's just my experience. I have had no problems. So when you're on their site, you're going to look for the download links. And again, it's ad-based, so they're going to show you as many ads as they can until you can actually do the download. And to make certain that you're clicking on the right link, always check, at least in Chrome on Windows, is the bottom left corner will show you the download link that you're getting ready to click. And just make sure it matches. So this is the paint.net download link, is the first one. So when you click this one, it's going to take you to this page. Now you may get what's called an interstitial or a whole page ad pop up. Just find the X, close it out, keep on trucking. When you get here, you're going to find the Microsoft link and their download link. Now you can get it from the Microsoft site if you want. It's $1. That's fine. But I use their link, and I've installed this on several machines. Again, I've used it for over a decade, and personally, I've had no problems with it. So you're looking for the download now, and this is the .pdn. And if you again check your link down in the corner, it's .pdn, so we know that that matches. And again, this is an ad again, so we'll just close that out. Again, when you're looking to download something, only click on the paint.net, and then the current release is 5.1.11. So we'll click that again. Probably going to get another ad. Nope, we got to download. So it's a zip file. Download the zip file, save it. I've already done this, so we're not going to do it again, but save it, open the zip file, install the software, and then when you open the software, you should see something similar to this. What you have here is, this is your image, and what we're going to do is, for purposes of scaling an image to the right size to match the model that or diorama you're working on, we need a known reference point for the print process. And simple enough, a piece of paper is 8.5 by 11. So if we put the dimensions of a piece of paper into the image, then anything we put onto the image is going to be the same size on the image as it is on the piece of paper. And if that doesn't make sense, just give it a minute. I'll demonstrate it. So just kind of real quick, we'll run through the functions we're going to use today. This is by no means a deep dive on this software. If you're interested in that, there are gobs of YouTube videos out there that show you everything you'd ever want to know about paint.net. For today's purposes, we'll be using the plus, or the new. We're going to add a new image. We're going to be using the save, copy, paste. We'll have the grid and the ruler turned on. That's just for visual reference. And then image, we'll be using that. We'll be using the resize and canvas size, more resize. We may or may not use that one. If we need to flip something around, we've got that here. We'll also be using the select tools, mainly just the square. So you can select the square here, and then you can click here, and you'll notice that it puts the little dots at the corner and allows you to move it around. And then you can select the pixels and then move the whole pixels around. So there's that. And then also the undo and redo button. So if I want to put it all back to where we started, I can do that. Now, we want to make the image the same size as a piece of paper. And for print purposes, we're also going to kick up the resolution quite a bit. If you're in Great Britain, you follow along, but just use your dimensions for the image. The resolution will be different, but I'll show you that here in just a second. So for the image, we're going to resize the image. And for the resolution, for printing purposes here in the US, 300 dpi is sort of a standard, or it's kind of a minimum standard at that. But so what I want to do first is set the pixels per inch, or dots per inch as they call them, to 300, and then we're going to set that. Then we're going to come back and we're going to resize the image again, and this time we're going to actually change the dimensions of the image. We want to make sure that the maintain aspect ratio is off, and then we know that a piece of copy paper is 8.5 by 11 inches. So there, now we have an image that's the same size as a piece of paper. So anything we put onto this image will print here the same size that it is on the image. So actually, we're just going to call that the paper. So this is the paper. Now, for demonstration purposes, I thought we'd do a magazine. And what better magazine than fine scale? So the dimensions of this magazine we'll take, and then we can transfer that into the software, and we'll be able to get the right size image to print out to match the model that we're working with. Now, I can tell you that the magazine is 8.5 inches. This is the 1-to-1, the life-size live magazine, 8.5 inches by 10 3/4 inches. So it's 8.5 by 10.75. So we know that to get the right size, we're going to have to scale at least one side, and we're going to do the 8.5 inch side. Now, scaling. It's pretty simple. The math is simple. You'll take the dimension that you're working with and divide it by whatever scale you want. In this case, it's 25, but it could be 48, 1/6, 148. Doesn't matter. You'll take the 1-to-1 dimension and divide that by the scale you're looking for. In this case, the magazine is 8.5 inches. And we're working with 1/25 scale, so we're going to divide 8.5 by 25. 25. And we get 0.34 inches. So we know that so in scale, the 8.5 inch is going to be 0.34 inches. So it's going to be about a big. Now, there's a easier way to do this. Well, I don't know about easier, but there's another way to do this as a website that I like to use called Scale Conversion Calculator. Now this thing's pretty neat. It's another free website. You're going to see some ads, but that's fine. So if you've got your, let me clear that and start over. And it lets you use a little widget here, and you can put in what it is you have, and then it will calculate the scale for you. But what I like about it is you can do different, you can use metric, imperial, you can do imperial to metric or metric to imperial, which is pretty neat. And there's also another calculator, the scale factor calculator, in which case you can do it in reverse. You can take the size of something on your model or diorama, and you want to see what that would be like in real life. You take it and you can put that calculation in here, and it'll tell you that a 0.34 inch catalog is going to be 8.5 inches in real life. So, but again, we're going to convert 8.5 inches in 1:1 scale to 1/25 scale, and we get 0.34 inches. Now, where are we going to get our image? You can scan whatever it is, or in this case, it was just easier to go and download a cover off of their website. So you grab it from your file, drop it onto the software, and then it gives you a couple of different options. You can open the item in a new image, or you can add a layer. I'm going to open it in a new image, and there's a cover for fine scale model. Now you'll see here, the scale here, that this is not true to size. Well, we know that the magazine's 8.5 inches, but the image is 8 inches. So we really don't need to be concerned with that, because we're going to resize this to match the scale. So now we're going to resize the image. We're going to start with the resize here. And we're going to kick the resolution up to 300 to start with, not 3000, 300. And we're going to set that. And then we're going to come back again, open it up. And this time we're going to make sure that maintain aspect ratio is clicked. And we're going to put in our dimensions of 0.34 inches. And then you'll notice with the aspect ratio locked, it will automatically set the height at the right number. And then we click that, and it shrinks her down. So there we are. So that, and we want to make sure that is stayed the same, 0.34. So it's 102 pixels by 136, 0.34 by 0.45 inches. And then we're going to save that. Go File, Save As. Now, we need to save it as a JPEG. You could also do a PNG, but JPEG works fine. And then Model Mag, and this is 1/25. We'll save that. Now we've got that saved. You'll notice that it's a little, whoop, let's get out of that. We've accidentally selected it. So we'll click that off. You'll notice that it's a little furry because we're really down into the pixels here. But when it prints, it'll look something more like that. So now what we want to do is select it, and then we're going to copy, and then we're going to go back to our piece of paper, and then we're going to paste it on the paper. And there it is. So if we zoom in, we see our image. Now, it's up in the corner. We really can't, it's kind of hard to print it from up in the corner. So all we're going to do is we're going to just move it down the paper a little bit. right? When you're moving a selected object, you want to make sure that the little four-pointed arrow comes up, and then you can grab it with the mouse and move it around. Now, just printing this once is fine. If you're a perfect modeler and you're going to cut this out and you're going to make it spot on the first try, great. If not, make multiple copies. And how you do that is you select it with the selection tool, right? So I have that. And now I'm going to copy that and paste it. And move it over, and paste it, and move it over, and paste it, and move it over. Whoops, and move it over, right? And paste it, and move it over. Now, if you're not going to mess up, but 3 or 4 times, 5 of these is plenty. You'll deselect here. Now this is our image. Again, now this one we're going to save. Right? Save as. So, doesn't matter, it's just a reference. And we'll save that. Now the settings up here, we want to kick this up to best quality here. And we're going to make that 100. That's our quality settings, 100. So we want the highest quality image we can get. Click OK. And save. Okay, so now we're ready to print. Now, let's see. You can print from inside this software, or you can print from whatever viewer you want. So you can, but printing from here is pretty easy, and it lets you kick up the resolution a little bit. So from here, we're going to do File. You can hit this, but we're going to do File, Print, because that gives us a few more options, right? And we're going to do the quality. We're going to do plain paper, auto. My current printer is a Canon, but I've used Brother and HP in the past, and they all have similar functions to this one. So if you just noodle around a little bit, you should be able to find what you need. We're going to do photo print, cassette, OK, print. And there you are. This is our magazines. I know it's hard to see. I'll do a close up of these when I cut it out. But yeah. So we're going to do, so now that we've got this, we'll move over to the workbench and we'll get the X-Actos out and start working with these to make a magazine. So printed it out and I added a few extra and spaced them out. So, get a few more tries if we need it. Magazines have a thickness, and I could, if I wanted to, go through the steps and processes of figuring out what that is and doing the thickness to scale. But I think it's a little extra work, and I don't believe it's strictly necessary unless you just want to. Unless you're chasing that level of fidelity, I think it'll be fine. So, also, magazines are glossy, and copy paper is not glossy. So, some options there. You could print it on glossy paper, or you could put glossy something over top of it. I tried a couple of different things before I settled on this, but sticky tape. This comes in different textures and thicknesses and whatnot. This is kind of a matte finish, right? So, a matte finish. Make sure we got some focus going on here. That was one of my problems earlier, was focusing.
the image was like all over the place. So there's that. So I don't know how well that'll show up on the camera, but it gives it a little bit of gloss. Also, now there are different types of tape and different glossiness levels. Glossiness is a word. So you can use, I've got some packing tape here that is very clear. It's a little thicker than the other tape. So we'll try a little bit of that and see what that gets us. Okay. Very good. And you can see that is quite a bit glossier than than just the standard for Scotch tape type stuff. So yeah. So to sort of accommodate the thickness, I don't think just a layer of tape and a piece of paper is gonna get there. So what I'm gonna do is cut it out twice as long as it is wide, and then fold it over. So it'll also give you that layer look, like it's like there's pages, because there is 2 of them. Yeah, 2 pages. It's a 2-page catalog. All right. We want to start with a brand new, is that the one? Oh yeah. Brand new blade in your hobby knife, X-Acto, whatever. And a straight edge. So when you're cutting these out, you want to go from the outside. So, normally if you were going to cut something out, you just put your blade up there, put your ruler up there like that, and zip. We want to see where we're cutting in relationship to the catalog, to the ink and the print. So to do that, you do it from the outside. Now these aren't exactly in a row, so they don't line up perfectly, but that one's going to be, let's do the second one here. See, my instinct is to do that, but we need to do this. All right. And put down some, oh, see, it moved. All right, hold her down. Also, when you're cutting through, don't just force to it in one go. You want to take several light cuts. Make sure your blade is up against the straight edge, and go until you feel the cutting mat underneath. There's that one. Do it on this side. It's fiddly to line it up, but once you get it, it's worth the effort. Okay. Yeah. Back side. So we can just zip through this. We'll cut that out longer than it needs to be. So there's our first one. Focus. So let's move to the old man glasses. Ooh, that's much better. So now we want to fold it, but if you look at the edge of a magazine, at the spine, you'll see that the ink of the cover comes right up to the very edge, and if you look at it from the edge, you'll be able to see the ink, right? So when you fold it, you want to do the same thing. You want the edge of the ink to come right up to the crease, so that when you're looking at it laying there, it looks like that's supposed to be there that way. It's not going to draw. These are little things that, if they're not right, they'll draw your attention to them. But if they're done right, no one will ever notice it. It just fades into the object and it just looks right. And I believe the thickness of this will bear that out. So folding it as a booger is a trick. All right. Did that? That's very close. Okay. Could be slightly more. Okay. All right. Then when you think you've got it, we'll just lay it down here and take a look at it. It looks pretty good. Now, we've got a little extra sticking off the side we want to cut off. I'm going to use the straight edge for that. Make sure we're getting it right. Again, light passes. Don't force it through all at once. It'll tell you when it's through. There. Okay. There. But, so you'll see that it doesn't want to stay shut. So that looks a little odd. So we'll need to fix that. All right. So for that, I like to use just a little bit of PVA. In particular, I've been using the canopy glue from Zap, but not the main stuff down in the bottle. The stuff that's dried up a little bit up around the edge, so it's a little thicker. Right, just a dab there. Put the lid back on that before we make a mess, like I did with the coffee. Now, I want to put this on the back inside piece. I just want to get it to where it covers the edge and makes a tacky edge. Then we will squeeze her shut. And there you have a fine scale model magazine. So just real quick, we'll do one of the glossier ones just so you can see with the comparison between the two. All right. Just grab this one on the end here. Okay, there's that one. Now, I've got a little extra here, which is what I should have done with this other one. So when I fold it, I've got a handle, if you will. It's got a handle on it. Again, we want to fold it to where the ink is visible as you're looking at it. Not crooked. That folded well. All right. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on this one, and then we'll trim it. It moved on me. I think I can fix that. All right, so, cut off the excess. Just want to barely see the ink poking out from underneath the ruler. And this is the exception to the don't cover it up rule, because we want to get both of those edge layers at the same time. And there we are. Now, got a little bit of underlap right there. We want to trim that off. And we should have another magazine. Same here. Just absolute there. If you didn't know what you were looking at, you wouldn't find it. Bit of ink sticking out from underneath. There. Light touch. Okay, there's the list a little bit we trimmed off. You can see that. And there's that one. Okay. So there you are. This process is great for many different things. You can do paintings on the wall, stickers, signage. You can use it in conjunction with water slide decals to make stickers for your vehicles or insignias for different vehicles. You want to do a custom, you'll do a different scale of what was there, or signage. I think I said signage already. So, but yeah. So an example could be if you messed up on a water slide decal while putting it on your model, you could go back and recreate that decal and on some water slide paper and print that out and put it on your model to replace the one you messed up. So the uses are many and varied, and just your imagination is pretty much the limit of what you could do with these things. So yeah. thank you oh so much for hanging out. And while I work through my technical difficulties, and hopefully you didn't notice them and that I recovered. So if you did, my apologies. I'll do better next time, maybe. But yeah, thanks again, and go make something.